This video is for students of Planetary Tantra. Right now it's the year 2019, it's July, to be specific, July 24th. And do you know what phase the moon is in? Class, it is in the last quarter. So get yourself your calendars out, make sure you have them marked. What do you do in last quarter in Planetary Tantra? Okay, we're observing the lunar calendar, we're watching the moon cross the sky, we're witnessing when it rises, when it falls. Some tools people find useful. For some, I have found I like the Farmer's Almanac. Get that. Get yourself a lunar cycle calendar. If you're an app person, I think Solarium is the way to go. You can also go on Twitter and follow various astronomers who actually post pictures and will actually show you exactly where the moon is after the lunar dark moon. And we go on to the next Dakinian shift, lovingly called. But we both know, you student and I and the other students, that in Planetary Tantra, they're divided into Mahavidyas and the Darazistic Dakinis. So together we don't call them Dakinis, they're the Vatas. But the Dance and Sky Dakinis is something that is fun to say. So I consider myself a Dance and Sky Dakini. So let's get started with this. We happen to be right at the end of the reflecting and selecting phase, and now we're going to be going into refining. What exactly is refining? Well, you take a look at the characteristics of Vajrayogini, the Tantra mother, affectionately known as Miss Piggy. There are some videos that John Lash did with Jeannie Thwaite, I believe, or by himself, that talk to it, such as The End of Pretending. Type that into the search bar. If you can't find it, then that's okay, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So, okay, she is part of the five skull crown initiation. Does that mean anything to anybody? So students, I'm a student too. I'm teaching what I learned. The reason why is because there's no forum for us that aren't in the treehouse. I'm currently not in the semester program due to my place in life. Financially, it's not going to happen. But when something isn't happening financially, you also take a look at what you need to focus on. I'm focusing on Planetary Tantra, and John Lash has given it as a gift, and it is specifically a free gift. It's not to be charged. I don't charge. You don't charge people. You present it because it's a tool that comes in handy at this time. This is the Terma of Gaia awakening. We are in the awakening. The pedophilia finally came out. My yesterday's video is not so bright and fun because I got into the down and dirty of what's really behind there. And if it weren't for my teacher, my Gnostic teacher on the internet, John Lash, I never would have done any sleuthing. I never would have found out that it's worse than they think. But people that are in the YouTube community are aware of it, and it's best not to get your panties in a knot. It's best to get grounded because shit's going to start slinging, and you want to be able to be grounded to know what's real. You have to know where your heart space is to be able to tune into it. And it's strengthened by Planetary Tantra, and I'm doing a hoorah because I guess you guys are already students, but I'm being a advocate because in my meditation today, this symbol came into my imagination in my throat, because that's where you put it. If you broadcast it, you imagine it there and you broadcast it from your throat. As what is taught online by John Lash, that's a note that I take and use because I'm a trained Reiki practitioner. So you can send Reiki through your hands just as much as you can send out into the force field of life the energetic grid system, you can send this app in your, it's an app, meaning it's an active application, it's not just a symbol. That's the magic of this. It doesn't require a human being necessarily, although it interacts with that human being. It's only as powerful as that human being is. This app only works in conjunction with the user's ability to use it. It's not like a gun any old fool can learn how to shoot and kill people with. So this right here is something quite different. This is a high art. You all know that out there. So if anybody can tell me what the 5 crown skull initiation is, I'll be much obliged. So this is my take on this, and also isn't it magnificent that at this time in 2019, while we're in the Vajrayogini shift, which is reflective of the Gaia Sophia herself, she's the closest Disaristic Dakini that's the closest to our Great Mother, the Earth herself, the fallen wisdom goddess Sophia, embodied in the Earth. She's the Aeon that came from the galactic core. Okay? She is our mother. We are her divine children. And everything is in order. For she has allowed the release of pretending. People aren't pretending anymore that pedophilia is tolerable. Sorry, mass media, we're not buying your shtick. Right? Like, look what happens finally. Finally, right? So, like, keep looking, keep paying attention, because in correction, when the truth is revealed, is it sort of like, back to same old? Or is it for the cause of the people, for the cause of humanity? Does it uphold the goodness that's inherent in the truth of your being? Your being, my being, most beings. We all know it's just a couple bad apples spoiling the bunch. We have a couple, like, I don't know how many, but they're spoiling the otherwise really good time on this planet, and the planet itself, like killing our mother. And so these things have to stop. So I want people to become aware that you can't just sit on your hands and wait for things to happen, but you have to also do things that speak to your own heart, which is why you have to get grounded, follow a practice. Yoga is a type of a practice. Martial arts are all types of practices which teach you not to be a reactionary. It teaches you responsibility, which is responsibility. The ability to respond appropriately to any given situation. Okay? So, release from pretending. It deals with shame and guilt. You know? It's a good time to unearth anger in the lungs. I hold anger in the lungs still. You know? I've been borderline in my past, not personality disorder, borderline victim. When you get out of the victim game, the life on planet Earth becomes so much more fun. It's so much more fun. So people all have addictions, okay? Addictions are a program. It's a negative program. The human body is actually programmable, but you weren't taught that, and therefore you have to wake up and teach yourself. No one's going to teach you. No one's going to come knock, knock, knock on your door and say, oh, guess what? You can program your cells to regenerate. But to do that, you have to learn some sun gazing and some grounding. And that means getting outside, holding a tree with 2 hands, you know, or, let's see, basically barefoot or with grounding shoes, like moccasins or something. And you can get those. I get mine at thegroundingstore.com. It was a no-brainer. Hey, I need to get grounded. I typed in thegroundingstore.com. And it's this Indian people out of Canada, so you're supporting a native North American tribe, and the white man came, and it was our oppressors that did this, because if you're from European ancestry like I am, you yourself had relatives that were probably genetically, like people, basically memory is DNA. So if someone were to kill off an entire family, you still have genetic recall, because as Rudolf Shendrake shows in his morphic field studies of plants and people, I think, twins maybe, there is a field that's a common field around a common genetic strand. That's why it's not junk DNA. Those are identifiers. It's like you having your very own IP address. So that stuff is useful, and you actually pick up things through your bloodline, and it doesn't have to be the actual family. It's through that genetic coding. You got that? Do not send your DNA away to those 23 people, me and you, no. Because that's a way it was a way for the Draco to do nefarious things with that information. Or to seek, I don't know. Whatever it was, it's like you're paying them to use information that could potentially hurt you. So think about it. And I don't want you to feel shame and guilt. But let's not pretend that these things are up for your good. When they're going to do something for your good, it's not. I'm going to talk to you real quickly. Obamacare, okay? Obamacare actually made it so that anybody that was receiving that Obamacare, they pay taxes on that at the end of the year. A lot of them didn't know that. So if you got $15,000 worth of whatever, you pay taxes on that at the end of the year. Also this, if you were under a certain income bracket, you couldn't get anything at healthcare.gov. I know this because I had to go in there and like get rejected and then raise my income and then get accepted for 1 year, 2015. So I'm not talking out of my butt here. I actually have experience. Then I realized that with my health insurance, everybody's health insurance skyrocketed. All the costs skyrocketed. It was just incredible. And then if you didn't have it because you were too broke to have it, you were then charged $850 or something like that per person. For what? To have health, to not be able to pay for an incident if it does happen because the government wants it because you don't have insurance? And all you probably needed was that $850, and now you're going to have to do a GoFundMe or something? But none of your friends have any money either. So I'm not in that predicament. I have a family that I have a trust. I'm not a trust fund baby. I work for a living. I have my own business. But making money is not my end-all be-all. It's not my number one thing, but it's a fact of life, folks. You have to make it. But also because of my positions in life, being married to this person, then being married to that person, seeing the difference money makes is crazy. Husband number 2 was rich, but money can't buy you love. And I thought I loved him, and I really did because it was magical initially. And then he became more and more poisonous to me. And I just couldn't find an elixir against him other than having had a really interesting experience, okay? I wasn't going to talk about it because it's so gauche to talk about the twin flame. But since I already have a blog post that I posted way back after it happened, I'll link it below on my Zenith dress post. I had this crazy twin flame experience, and it changed me, and I had to divorce my husband, and then I did. And it was on an airplane, and it was over and out, and then I contacted him, and he was freaked out, and I was like, I couldn't even speak to him. Basically what I was like, if he felt what I felt, and I know he did because it's in my blog post, when you meet your twin flame, everything goes away. So we're on this airplane, and I'm going to stop pretending it's not real, since this is a good time to do it. I've got the Tantra Mother Power behind me. And this is something I wanted to talk about because when you have an awakening, when you have your own personal awakening, it's yours. And you don't explain it away. You don't tell people and have them poo-poo you and stuff, because that takes away the power. But when you have what I had, which was a very real and tangible Kundalini experience, that sustains itself for a very long time and rapidly changes my body. Weight just melted off. Happiness levels went up like this. And I realized after I got off that airplane in which I had met my twin flame, who I would never see again forever, in this lifetime, which is just not that quick, an aeon time. Oh man, that's just, wow. So anyway, I had been transformed into alignment of the truth of my center because I knew, having met that person, I got instant knowing. I told you about my Jesus experience. Well, it was the Christ light in which I took Jesus into my heart after it was Pioneer Girls. I said Campfire Girls in the video, but I meant Pioneer. And the light came in, and when the light came in of the Christ light, I also got information, and I realized that the church was not teaching what he taught. Okay? So I am grateful that I have had these info packets, but I hadn't pieced them together until lately. I guess it's part of my awakening, right? So I'm sharing it with you. So the next, and that was when I was like, 10, 12, probably 12. Yeah, I wasn't in high school yet. Between 10 and 12, probably 12. Before like boobs came in, before buds, whatever like the Girl Scouts are. Yeah, 8th grade, up to 8th grade. That's what it was. So, the twin flame experience is one in which you were with that person in the love bubble and you don't get that there's chronos time, that you only sense love, bliss, and joy. And it is an elevating experience that affects everybody around you. Yeah, it was a quiet plane. And when we got up, there was no pushing and no shoving, and everybody was smiling at us like, wow, look at these two. And we floated out of the airplane and floated through Dulles. No, it was Dallas in Texas, yeah. And he took his tram, I took mine. I turned around and he was standing like this. He had his carry-ons. He was standing there with his bags hanging. So in my essay I say, and he was standing there like, the crucifix, Christ suffering on the cross. Because we were talking about religion, and he had established a connection with the fundamental Catholicism, and I was married. So of course, after our experience, he couldn't have anything to do with me. So it didn't negate the experience. It just actually strengthens the observation I have that religions have done more damage to the human species on this planet than anything in my awareness. I'm sure Atlanteans would disagree. It started there, but I'm not going to go into Atlantis and all that. That's not my speciality. So I got off the plane and my husband was doing loops trying to find me, and I said, you just went by twice. He couldn't see me. I'm like, just stop. I can see you. Just stop. And he stopped, and he had this look on his face. He couldn't see me. Isn't that wild? So then I realized when I was with him, I could feel his energy because I could feel mine. It was so abrasive. He was very angry and very unmothered, and his mother had died, and he took all of his unresolved issues, out on me. And what ended up happening was I got really high, with my vibe, and I said to him, something happened to me in the plane, and I realized that I can never have a truly loving, divine heart-to-heart with you, and I think that exists somewhere, and I'd like to experience it. All the while knowing it's probably not with that man, because he was 10, 12 years younger than me. His name, I know his name, and he's from Florida. And I know what he does, but I'm not going to say who he is because I'm sure he would want not to have his name broadcasted and who he is broadcasted all over. If he recognizes who he is, and he can tell me who he was and what flight number we were on. Well, he doesn't have to know that, because it was significant to me. All the signs were there. So anyway, I'm going to stop pretending that that did not alter me forever, because it was there and then I realized that I would be taken care of, that the universe would take care of me, even though I will be scared sometimes. Following your heart, leaving a marriage behind that would have been cushy. If you could handle mental and emotional abuse, it would have been cushy. No sweat. As long as you could handle that. Whole days without someone talking to you. Being penalized and punished for something that's a perceived wrong that you don't even know. Having to explain yourself constantly about why you bought that pot. Meaning pottery. Why'd you buy that? We have enough of them already. I wasn't a crazy spender. I'm a dish presenter. Whenever I make a meal, ask my kids, little dish of that, little dish of this, little dish of that, little dish of this, little dishes everywhere, dish, dish, dish. I got that from my grandmother. My grandmother, she never served pickles out of the jar. Number one, they made their own pickles. Number two, she put them in her china. She was proud of her china. And we loved eating out of her china as much as she loved presenting her pickles and her meals and everything on china. It was great. So that's where we're at. We're in the shift. And so what your tools are during planetary tantra, back to planetary tantra. So you want to have your calendar. You want to mark it. Sometimes on my day off, but you mark it when the moon is. So we started after the new moon. I believe it was the 3rd of July, and there was a lot of things going on this month. I'm not going to go into the astrology and astronomy right now. And then we're here now. We're here. So we're heading into that reflecting and selecting, and then we go into refining. So you have this opportunity now during the Vajrayogini, 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 Vajrayogini. Isn't that nice? Vajrayogini. And if you don't want to say that, you can call her Miss Piggy, because she is the diamond sound. And also, I like to think of it, hi-ya! See what happens when in her shift, hi-ya! Pedophilias, hi-ya! So, isn't that great? We're in correction, folks. It's happening before your very eyes. When the truth goes into goodness. When the truth brings us into the era of goodness. And that's all I'm going to say for now. Comments below. Let's talk.